What's up, gang? Carlton Flowers here, your crypto pro with a new format. This is my new flash update, a quicker, easier format for me when I want to do a really brief analysis without all the frills and taking a close look at the action with Bitcoin or some of the favorite alts. These videos will just usually be 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes at most, and minimal editing. So that I'd like to know if you like this new format for me to do quicker updates on the computer. I'll still have the mobile updates on the device and then the full updates with all the editing, but this is the quick format that I'll use for the computer. All right, so let's just jump right in, and here we are on Bitcoin on the 4 hour. And what I'm noticing right now is that we're sailing down again. So here's the baseline of the triangle. Here's the upper descending boundary of the triangle. And notice today, here we are right there. We touched on the 50 EMA, the 50 exponential moving average, and then we got rejected and started going back down. Stochastic, look at the stochastic. It is peaked and we're reversing. So we didn't even make it into overbought zone. I thought we were going to get up into here and maybe touch again on the upper end of this line and challenge the upper triangle line and break out and possibly get into the thick of this volume node, or maybe even move up. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So the stochastic is bearish. We also have a bearish MACD, which this lags behind the stochastic, okay? The stochastic makes the first move, and then you notice that the MACD comes behind it. So while the stochastic oscillators have already crossed over and are headed south, the MACD oscillators have yet to cross over. So this gives us a good idea of what's happening on the cutting edge and then what the overall trend is doing. So I'm thinking that we're headed back down to this baseline, which will be the point of determination of what's going to happen next. If we bounce off of that, we're probably going to do something like this and maybe test this upper triangle boundary again, which at that point, it could come down again. Or if we're surprised, we might see a breakout and resume the bull market. And I'll be convinced of that when I see it. I mean, this is not a prediction, and I don't listen to people making predictions. I think the wisest thing to do is just watch and know that once you get to a decision point at one of these boundaries, that's when you know what to do next. Wait and see. I'm not buying or selling anything until we break above this line. Then I'll start to think about buying. Or when we break below this line. If we violate this base, then I'm thinking that we've got plenty further room down south that we're going to go. All right, let's clear that real quick and jump to the 1-day chart so we can see what the possibilities are in my mind. If we make it out of this triangle, here it is right here. And now we can see the big fat volume node that is centered around the POC price, and the visible range here is at about 37,000. And you can adjust that. What this means is, let me just explain something real quick. This is the visible range volume profile. So that means if I pull in more price action into the visible chart range, VPVR means what you can see on the chart. See? So when I pull in this volume from way back here from last year, then we see what the volume node, the popular buying prices were at that point. And that's where this big cluster comes in here. And the next one is upwards of the peak of 2017. Then there's another big one here at 23,000. And that's why I think that 23,000 is a possibility for a bottom. I don't know about dropping all the way down to 20. I mean, it can happen. It's possible, maybe not probable, but that's what VPVR means. So I'm going to take out all of that old stuff there and just zoom into 2021. And then we can see here a little bit more clearly. Well, let's move over a little bit. We want to see the volume node down here. There it is right there. There's the 23. So it shows up right there. That is a possibility if we violate this base right there. And then here's the other possibility right here at about 27K. That's what I'm looking at. Now, the one thing that tells me that this could get tricky is the stochastic. So let's look at the stochastic on the 1 day. There's a crossover. So it looks like we have flipped probably from this little move up, but that doesn't mean that this can't turn right back around and flip again and head back further south, which is what I think it's going to do. And the reason is because we have the crossover on the oscillators on the MACD, and plus we are in the negative on the histogram. So my best guess is that we're not done with this correction. And I could be surprised to wake up and find out that we just completely blast off here, off of this line, and then we flip this again and start to head up towards the overbought zone. That could happen. But the main point, again, is I'm not making any decisions until we get outside. Let me redo that. Let's clear this chart, clear, and let's put a box. Here's the box here. We got to get outside of this box before I'm doing anything. Above or below. That's what I'm waiting on. Do we break out above or do we break out below? As soon as we see that, then it will be time to look to see which volume node that we get attracted to. So the lower we go, the less probable. The higher we go, the less probable. If we break out, it's very probable that we hit 37. It is less probable that we hit this 50 point, but it can happen. And it is least probable that we jump up to this one. Not to say that least probable means it won't happen. It just means if you're gambling and you're betting, this one is like rolling the dice and getting, say, a double. This one is rolling the dice and getting a snake eye, less probability. Do you get that? So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'll be watching to see what happens with this action, and I think we'll know within the next 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, depending on if we go down, bounce back up, and get rejected again. That could take a couple days. Or if we sail down and we're at this point already within the 24 hours, then we'll know if we break down through the bottom of the triangle or jump back up to the top. 24 to 48 hours. Post your comments and let me know what you think of the new Flash format. We'll see you next time.